Galloway and Isabell podcast. My name is Thomas Galloway. To my left is Noah Galloway. How are you, Noah?
I'm doing fantastic.
Fantastic, all right. And Evan, to my middle. How are you?
Well,
Evan?
I was going to say I was doing fantastic, but that one's already been taken.
That's
I'm doing all right.
He's doing all right, all right. There's other, like, you do tremendous or magnificent.
Spectacular, incredible.
Okay. And then, Evan, would you like to introduce our special guest today?
Our special guest is someone special and dear to my heart, and kind of grew up together through the good and the bad. My little sister, Chelsea Isabell.
Are you doing fantastic, Chelsea?
Doing pretty good.
That's good.
Ooh.
That's good. Okay.
Kind of grew up together.
Kind of grew up together.
A little bit.
You could say.
So this is Evan's last episode before he leaves to go to Spain. So we have a few things to talk about. We are going to talk about utensil questions, which we didn't get to last time. We have a few games and a few discussions. It's a pretty intense topic, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And we have a Rotten Tomatoes game, which we stole from another podcast. But it's pretty simple, so I really don't feel bad for taking it from them. And then we have more questions about what type of animals we think we could beat up, which are a very important part to our podcast. We're going to discuss bobcat and ostrich and may get around to a kangaroo. And then we're going to ask questions to Evan about his trip to Spain, what he's excited about, things like that. So we'd also like to give you an update on our listenership so far, since this is the first chapter, so to speak, of the podcast. Coming to a close here. Our second episode hit 600 listens.
Woo!
Between SoundCloud and iTunes. And since then, it dropped off right after that a little bit. But since episode 5, we've had a pretty consistent listenership about turn 15 between iTunes and SoundCloud, which I've been happy. I was very happy with that.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So appreciate that. And like I said, don't forget to subscribe on iTunes and SoundCloud and recommend the podcast to a friend. It really does help. So before we get to our topics, we should go back to our sponsor. This podcast is brought to you by Morning Bell Coffee Roasters. Morning Bell offers a diverse and unique selection of specialty coffees and have direct personal relationships with their suppliers. You can visit Morning Bell at 111 Main Street in Ames, Iowa, or get their coffee at the Wheatsville Co-op or either Hy-Vee location here in Ames. If you do not live in the Ames area, that is not a problem. You can order off their website, morningbellcoffee.com, and shipping is free anywhere in the United States if you order over 2 pounds of coffee. And whether you visit the actual location or order online, don't forget to let them know we sent you. They like hearing how new customers hear about their business, and it shows us and them that this sponsorship thing actually works. So our first step is to do the Rotten Tomatoes game. And I mentioned that we got this from another podcast. It's fairly simple. Each movie has a percentage on Rotten Tomatoes given to them by movie critics. And so as I go through the movies, you'll write down what you think the score of each movie is. And after we go through those movies, we'll add up however far you are away from the right answer, and whoever has the lowest number wins. So if anybody would like to follow along, stop right now, pause the podcast, get a piece of paper, and keep track as we're going and see what your score is, and see if you guys can beat Evan, Noah, and Chelsea. So a couple hints for playing this game. Movie critics, they're movie snobs, so they're not super fans of 21 Jump Street. Even movies you think that everybody else really likes, they might not be a fan of.
Exactly.
I looked into being a Rotten Tomatoes critic because I wanted to do it, but you have to be from a major publication that has a certain number of visits to your website or whatever publication each year. So I have 6 movies from a variety of genres, and one of the movies is below 20%, and one of the movies is above 90%. So keep that in your scores. You should have at least one above 90 and at least one below 20. So let's get to our movies. And I'll put up the posters on our screen here, and so you guys can get a little idea, even if you haven't seen the movie, what you think. It might give you some indicator of how good the movie is. So our first movie is a mysterious woman gets Vin Diesel, also known as Dominic Toretto, to betray his family, and the crew is forced to fight without him. The movie is 2017's The Fate of the Furious. And here's a poster, guys, and just if there's any initial thoughts you guys have about what they might have given this movie, I'd love to hear them.
Okay. Let's see. And this is from the Fast and the Furious?
Yes.
I'm already leaning towards not.
Not great.
Not great.
Like, the dialogue is usually very
Trash.
trash, but the cars and getaway scenes and stuff are pretty exciting and stuff.
I know for a fact that if my grandma was a critic, she would love this movie.
She would love that movie.
She loves the muscles of Vin Diesel
And she'd be
and The
horrible at
Rock.
this game, so.
She would also be horrible at this game.
One thing to keep in mind is there are certain sequels or movies that critics actually buy into a little bit, even if they normally suck. They kind of like, okay, we get the kind of general idea of what this movie is. We're going to be okay with it. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Like, even if we know this is probably objectively not a good movie, they might be like, okay, it's an action movie. We're going to be
Yeah, we're great as
right action movie. Exactly.
Not like something the Fast and the Furious isn't trying to play on some political ideology or anything. It's an action movie.
Right. So everybody have their score down for that one?
Yes, we do. Or I do.
I'm getting there. I'm gonna probably put it at like 40.
Okay. And these movies.
Do I say mine? Do we all go around?
You guys go around after I say the answer.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You
And
agree or not?
it's
Yeah.
Cool.
so the Fate of the Furious is fresh at 66%.
We both wrote 40.
40,
I guessed
40.
way
Did you
too
actually
high.
read it before I did?
What did you say?
I did.
I said
did.
It was insane.
85%.
85%.
Oh my
I
God.
guess.
So Chelsea's
Well,
already out.
I feel like
Wait.
the series got like more and more ridiculous, and so there was an element of like being self-aware of how bad it is. But
That's true.
Right.
apparently the
What
critics
was it now
disagree.
again?
It was 66.
So she was actually the
Yeah.
closest. Wasn't she?
Yeah, you.
Wait,
By
what'd you do, 80?
you were 19.
85.
Oh,
You were
okay.
19 off, and they were 26 off.
Ah,
So,
wow.
and so I think the sixth or the seventh one of those also had something in the 80s as well. So they have like that has certainly played into it with some of the past ones. I guess they were just a little off on the submarine sliding through the breaking the ice.
Yeah. Wait, this is
And
the submarine one.
that's
I haven't
a-
seen this one yet.
Yeah, that's in the poster. So it's the Fate of the Furious. The poster has F8 and Rock, and the Rock is in one of the pictures along with everybody else. And F is Vin Diesel. I guess that's supposed to be an indicator of what's going to happen in the movie. And then the main picture is the submarine crashing through the ice, chasing after 8 different vehicles, including a tank. And it's all fun. And then there's a lot more flames later on. Okay, so the second movie we have, get to my next page here. In ancient Polynesia, when a terrible curse incurred by the demigod Maui reaches Moana's island, she answers the ocean's call to seek out the demigod to set things right. The movie is 2016's Moana.
I'm gonna go ahead and say 100%.
He's going to go 100. He's going to go all in.
I'm putting it at 90.
He's going to put it in 90. Yeah, so one of these movies is 90 or above, and one of them is 20 or above.
I think this is the 90 and above.
You think
Oh,
this is
yeah.
90
This
or above?
one-
Definitely. It was super good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'm the only one that hasn't seen this movie. But I'm definitely going to get around to it. So this movie is fresh at 96%.
Woo!
Whoa.
So we all put
Still on.
90?
I had
I
94.
put.
Oh,
sorry,
you
I got 95.
goof.
Oh.
I always go to the 5.
95. Oh, one important thing I forgot to mention completely is that if you get right on the dot, you subtract 5 from your score.
Nice.
So
So it's like golf.
So, yeah,
We're playing golf.
basically playing golf. Nice work, everyone.
Nice.
Okay, our third movie, a thief who steals corporate secrets through the use of dream-sharing technology is given the inverse task of planting an idea into the mind of a CEO. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio, the movie is 2010's Inception. And here's the poster. I forgot to show you the poster for Moana. That's Moana's poster, which is a great poster.
It is.
Like we should have known like right off the bat. Like,
No, it's good. I'm confused why this one's not the 90.
Yeah, me
This
too.
is probably like somewhere up there though.
Inception.
Unless it's like one of those things where like everyone's freaked out that the critics didn't grade it right.
Right. This one, that's a great poster as well.
Oh yeah.
And a great trailer. I remember watching that trailer, I was like, wow,
I've got to see this movie.
this is a good movie. This is going to be a good movie.
When did this come out? 14?
2010.
2010. Wow.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
It feels like it's a lot sooner than that, but how old were we then?
We have
That
been
was so
14. You and I have been 14.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Ish.
I remember when I was like middle school, I loved this. Was like my favorite movie for a while.
I really like how there's so many different settings.
Mhm.
You have like the nice when they're in t-shirts and stuff, and then there's the snow scenes at the end. It's really cool. Inception is fresh at 86%.
Nice.
What did you guys have?
88%.
Noah had 80.
80%.
88%.
88.
Yeah.
I had 70.
70. So nobody gets to -5, but we have some pretty close ones. Okay. Our fourth movie, security guard Ben must prove himself to his girlfriend's brother, top officer James. So he rides along with James on a 24-hour patrol of Atlanta. Starring Kevin Hart and Ice Cube, the movie is 2014's Ride Along.
Yeah, this was horrible.
Okay, so we have horrible. Did anybody else see this
I
movie?
haven't seen it, but I'm guessing it's not the best. I'm
Okay.
guessing it's around the low 20s.
Wait, is it
Less than
who
20.
are the two main actors?
Kevin Hart and Ice Cube.
Any movie that pairs like Kevin Hart and another tough actor, or like Will Ferrell with like I don't know, it's like
Right.
just two like big
Superstars.
main like male.
Yeah.
There's always a movie like that comes
Mhm.
out.
They're like,
All
we
the
should.
time.
It's like they didn't even care about the plot. They're like, we need Dwayne the Rock Johnson, Kevin
Yeah.
Hart, Ice Cube,
Right.
and
They keep trying that, like, yeah, every year. And there's a Ride Along too, which I'm not even gonna get near. But yeah, I don't think it's great. And Ride Along, I'll show you guys a poster real quick. Not this will probably really change your. Here's the poster. That is quite possibly the easiest poster ever to make.
what's this
All
say?
time.
Propose to this cop sister, rookie mistake.
That's
That's so corny.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, Ride Along is rotten at 19%.
Ooh, baby.
I got
What'd you
18%.
get?
18.
Ah, I'm always
18,
off. I'm
17.
15. I put 15.
You put 15. Okay, all pretty close though.
Yeah.
Nice work, guys. Okay. Our fifth movie, Sparks Fly, when spirited Elizabeth Bennet meets single, rich, and proud Mr. Darcy. Can each overcome their pride and prejudice in 2005's Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, I thought it was 50 Shades.
You guys have any ideas on this one?
I haven't seen it. Can we see the
Yes,
thingy?
I keep forgetting the poster.
That's fine.
Well, when I first saw it, I was a little kid, and I thought it was very boring.
Yeah.
Right.
When was this made?
2005.
2005. Let's see.
Starring Keira Knightley and a guy.
Keira Knightley and a guy. Is that what it
Yeah.
says on the title?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Starring Keira Knightley and a guy. We don't really care about the guy because
Yeah,
Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley's in it.
I think she can speak Spanish.
I believe it.
Is she?
She was in Pirates of the Caribbean. So
Yeah,
She
she's the one.
was.
I think she's the one. That
And
speaks
in
Spanish.
a commercial, clone for Chanel, a clone commercial.
Yep.
I highly encourage everybody to go check that out.
I think there's a movie where she's. I think it's on Amazon when I watched it, but it's about her and she has a kid, but she has cancer, and it's really interesting.
Speak Spanish.
Yep, it's a whole Spanish movie.
Nice.
Or it could be a completely different actress. But either way, check it out. I don't know what it's called.
Pride and Prejudice is fresh
Oh wait, sorry. I know it's fresh. 50.
at 85%.
Okay, not 50.
boom,
I got
nailed it. 85.
85, right on.
nice.
So Noah gets
yeah.
Noah gets to subtract 5 from his final score.
Nice.
And nice work. Our final movie. And keep in mind, this would be, if you think you're a little behind, generally speaking, this would be a time to try to make up some ground. Yeah. As students at the United States Navy's elite fighter weapons school compete to be the best in the class, one daring young pilot learns a few things from a civilian instructor that are not taught in the classroom. In 1986, Top Gun.
Good old Top Gun.
Our only movie not in the 21st century.
Can you get that poster up there, bro?
Yes.
Thanks, Emily.
Have you seen Top Gun, Tom?
I have.
You guys are going to have to squint a little bit here. I couldn't find a big... It's basically Tom Cruise with
Tom Cruise.
the lady leaning on his back.
So this one would be
An American flag in the background,
American
obviously.
Is this the one where that one scene where he's like, "Show me your war face"? Is that the same one?
This is the
I
one with
actually don't
Goose.
remember. Yeah, with
Maybe.
Goose.
They're in planes.
Okay, I don't think I've seen this one.
Okay.
So
So yeah, you're gonna have. This is a very, very, very popular movie, but was it a great movie?
That was a great movie.
That's the question to ask here.
I'm gonna put it at like a 65.
Everybody have their answers down?
Yep.
yeah,
Okay. Top Gun is rotten at 55%.
Ooh.
Who's the closest?
I got 40%.
40%.
I had 80%.
So
80%.
who's a bit closer, 65 or 40?
I'm not sure, but we'll take, what do you have, Evan?
I have 65.
65. Well, that's pretty close.
It's 55?
55.
So I'm 10 off, she's 15 off.
So we're going to take a quick break, guys, and come back, tally up these scores because math, and then we'll come back and give you guys the winners.
Sweet.
Welcome back, everyone. We have the results from our Rotten Tomatoes game.
Oof.
Noah narrowly edged out Chelsea for the victory. And then Evan, if he cut his score in half, probably would have won.
Yeah.
Probably. Okay, so we'll move on to our next topic, which is, do you guys think you could beat up a bobcat?
Every time we talk about animals, we should get like a... Knowing their size.
Knowing their size. And this is important. I think a lot of people think bobcats are large animals. They are maybe classified as big cats, but they're 19 pounds. The average adult bobcat is 19 pounds.
I honestly think that, like, given the right circumstances, I would be able to easily beat a bobcat.
Easily beat up a bobcat.
Considering 19
Well,
pounds.
just
So
and real quick.
Where would the location be?
First of all, yeah, we need to set some parameters here. The first one being that this discussion was initiated by Tristan Klepsig and Caleb Klepsig, so I should give them an Instagram shout out here. You can follow Tristan. He has 2 posts, but follow him anyway. None in the last 3 years, but you can follow him at TKLEPZ.
They're primo posts, though.
They are.
His first post is like he looks like he's 12 or something in a bathtub at a motel, and then the second one he's jumping off some sand dune.
Yeah,
Tristan-
the Sandy one's cool.
That was pretty cool. Those are some quality posts.
Yeah.
Also, Tristan, if you're a day older than 12 in that picture, you can get at Noah here and take care of him because he called you 12 in that picture. And Caleb Klepsig, I always think their name is Pletsig. Sorry, guys. You can find him at Caleb Klepsig. He got first dibs on that one. Okay, so basically with this bobcat, it's in a 10 by 10 room with a ceiling, 10 by 10 by 10, and the bobcat, neither one of you is clothed. So
Why would the
So-
bobcat
that's
so
a
inappropriate.
good
I wouldn't be
question.
thinking about this
The,
naked
the
bobcat.
bobcat does have his fur or her fur.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, what kind of floors do we have? Because if it's like
Slippery,
yeah,
slickery.
because that little thing is gonna slip all over the place.
Okay, I'm gonna say
Carpet?
completely carpeted.
Okay.
Yeah,
The whole room's carpeted.
the whole room's carpeted. Yeah, so nobody can hear anything that's going on.
I would
And
personally, I would just kind of sacrifice the quality of my hands, the appearance of them, and just go right for the throat. He might scratch me up a little bit, but that'd be kind of a quick
right.
kill.
Can we bring anything with us?
No, your bare hands and bare body.
I'm gonna eat. Okay, I'm gonna try and get around the whole thing. I'm gonna eat a bunch of cat food beforehand,
Okay.
throw it up during, and then I don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Hey, how about that? And the clothes thing is important because originally I was asking if I could have boots. Because if you have boots, then it's no
Yeah.
contest. You just kick the thing in the head a couple times, no big deal. But with the bare feet, it does kind of bring a question. But my theory was I can get at least 6 kicks in before I'm kind of starting to bleed out.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those kicks is going to make contact in a part of the head that is
Important for
enough.
living.
Yeah, important for living.
Well, when I think about a bobcat, it's like 19 to 30 pounds. I think
Right.
of our dog Ted.
Yeah, Ted's like going on the side of 30 pounds, right? How big is he?
He's clinically obese for a dog.
Yeah.
But I feel like if it was about the same size as Ted, but a bobcat's gonna be a little more energetic than him,
Right.
I could probably kill it.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. Take kind of somewhat equivalence in our lives and try to say, like, could I beat up this particular animal or small person? And and see how it
Are we
works.
considering like morals? Like,
No, that is completely out of the window.
Okay.
Similar to our discussion episode 2, if you guys want to check that out. Yeah, this is not. We're not trying to turn this into a philosophical or moral dilemma.
Does the cat in the first place want to fight you? Is that just
Yeah.
automatically?
How about
I
let's say we're in a
assume.
simulation where it's like everything's 100% realistic, but it's a simulation, so you don't have to worry about like whether or not anyone dies.
Okay. Yeah.
That way we don't have to worry
However you
about,
want to
like-
think about it. Yeah. And with it, sorry, what did you say about the animal?
If
Oh, yeah.
the animal itself, is it just immediately going to attack you? Or
Right. So the animal is, particularly with this 10 by 10 room, it's not looking to escape. It's looking to take care of you and then walk out. or somebody will let it out maybe.
Feed off your corpse for a few weeks.
Feed off your corpse. Okay, yeah, I feel very confident about my chances against a bobcat.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be honest. Now, ostrich, that's a different story. What do you guys think about an ostrich?
I die.
Ostriches are scary.
Ostriches are
You
scary.
can ride an ostrich, so
Yeah.
my thinking is if you can ride it, it can probably
Beat you
probably
up.
ride you.
Probably ride you. That's a fair argument. Originally I was optimistic, but then I started Googling and doing some research. I'm not optimistic anymore. And ostrich, they're pretty powerful beasts.
Oh, yeah.
They can't fly, so like what else? They make up for it by just being big and scary looking.
Well,
Yeah.
like if I were to try to take down an ostrich, I feel like they're so like heavy in like the middle, but then the legs and the neck are all thin. So I
Right.
just like grab it by the neck and see what happens. Just hang on as
Go by
long
neck.
as possible.
And someone said they're tall, so
Yeah.
that does probably.
Can you even reach up there?
I mean, I think I'd get up to the bottom of the neck.
Well,
That's you
they
think.
don't have any
Yeah.
arms
Necks?
to like reach
That's
up and
true.
grab
Right,
you.
and defend
Do you think they use their heads like because giraffes use their heads as like
Right.
bam,
His band,
smack
yeah.
with it, smack with his head.
Someone claimed an ostrich could kick a lion and decapitate the lion, and I told that person that was false. They're thinking of a giraffe, because giraffes can do that with their. They
Giraffes
can
can
decapitate
decapitate
a
a
lion, supposedly, according to a nature video we saw a long time ago.
Yeah.
So you're not messing with giraffes. Also, kangaroos, I don't feel confident about that either. We just watched a video of a kangaroo and a man boxing in a circus in Russia.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was interesting. It felt immoral or amoral, but no.
For the human,
Russian circuses.
it was immoral for the human.
It was
too.
immoral.
It was immoral
Yeah.
for everyone involved.
The kangaroo, he did what he had to do. Okay. Well, our next topic is utensils. And we've been waiting a while to get to this, but the first question about utensils is if you had to choose one utensil, you can use this one unlimited amounts of time. The second utensil, you can use once a week. And the third utensil, you can never use again. And this is obviously just me with forks, spoons, and knives. What do you get? What's your decision here, guys?
I'm gonna go knife first.
Okay,
fork
so unlimited use.
Yeah, fork second and spoon third, because I feel like what can you do with a knife or a fork that you can't do with a knife?
Mhm.
The sole purpose of using a fork is to spear something and bring it up to your mouth, and I feel like a knife could do exactly that.
That's fair. You do somewhat risk cutting yourself as you take
Yeah,
whatever
that's
is on the
true,
knife off of it. But other than that, I think you're kind of onto something.
I think your insurance might like
Double.
double. Yeah.
Well, I feel like if we're doing it in the most efficient way, I feel like a fork would be best because when I was in elementary school, we were not allowed any knives, even plastic, and we were very good at cutting meat with our forks. So
So you practiced.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Noah left off the spoon. I think you have to not eat much soup or cereal or be very shameless. So you're willing to, put the bowl up to your mouth or whatever.
well, I could eat like cereal with a fork. I mean, it can still lift it up.
Still
And you can
so.
just put soup in a cup and just drink it.
Yeah, I suppose so.
That's
Yeah.
a nice drink.
Yeah, it's a nice drink, and you don't have to order that. Like if you're going to a restaurant and you want to not embarrass yourself, you don't have to order soup, so you can get around that spoon thing. Okay, that seems like fair. I would go fork, unlimited use, a knife once a week for steak or something
On the
similar,
same boat.
and then drop the spoon. Okay, glad we solved that. And another thing, I thought this is universal that people use their strong hand to hold the knife. But some people have said that they don't.
Mhm.
Do we all use the strong hand?
I use my right hand for the knife,
Right.
and
Right
then my left
hand.
hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then sometimes I try to
Just
stop
whatever,
it.
yeah.
Get really mad, just give up altogether, go cry.
I was watching there's some dining etiquette videos on YouTube.
No.
This lady named Nancy Mitchell, she's very southern. She has the pearl necklace and just everything and the manners and all that. And she does a series of videos about dining etiquette. And one thing she mentioned, like, supposedly, at least in the South, they do the thing where they cut it with their strong hand, stab with the fork, and then set the knife down at the top of the plate, and then grab the fork with their strong hand and put it in there, put whatever it is in their mouth.
And production there is down 20%.
Yeah, significantly. So, whatever you want to. I would still recommend checking those videos out because they're kind of interesting. And she's very southern, like I said, and that's kind of entertaining. The one main complaint I have about utensils is that plastic knives are practically useless, in my opinion. I think Chelsea's. Are you sure? Are you don't sound so sure about this?
Well, like, I like how they're, like, nice and serrated, but,
Right.
like, yeah, I feel like a fork can do the same job that a serrated plastic knife can do.
That's what I was thinking.
Especially if you're dipping in peanut butter, half of that thing's gonna be still in there.
Right.
You like
and
stick the knife in and
it like
breaks
it breaks off. And then
So-
other people have mentioned spreading jelly, but you can spread jelly with a fork pretty easily. And same with butter.
Mhm.
And I would like to challenge anybody to suggest something that that cannot. Anybody listening right now, if you have any thoughts later, anything you can do with a knife that you can't do with a fork, plastic wise. Everything else, we understand that there is a purpose for metal or whatever knives.
Oh, yeah.
We understand that. We're pretty progressive.
Reasonable.
Yeah, reasonable.
Progressive.
Progressive people.
Forward thinking.
Forward
That's what we
thinking.
put on our thingy.
Yeah.
Forward thinking.
Forward thinking, progressive knife.
And then a
users.
picture of all of us.
All of
using silverware.
Yeah, and then probably the Fast 8 poster in the background.
Yeah.
Or Fate of the Furious or whatever it is. So our last topic to get to, before we send Evan off to Spain, is to ask him what he's excited about for Spain.
Man, I'm excited for the tapas. It's like stereotypical what everyone's just excited about for Spain. It's the tapas are like the street food of Spain, where it's kind of known from Spain, and so it's you go out in the street and you just get like little things of food, and then if you go to a bar, you get a drink, but the tapas come with the drink.
Nice.
So there's just so many different types of food you can get.
What city are you going to be in?
I'm in Carceres,
Carceres.
and it's next to Portugal.
Okay.
So I'll be able to get the experience of being like right next to Portugal, so I can travel there. I'm also really excited about seeing all the mosques and churches because there's a huge history of like Arabic influence there.
Gotcha, yeah.
And then what else? I'm going to France. Go to
Nice.
all the Europe places.
Yeah, well,
And,
that would be cool, yeah. My other question was there anything from your experience in Costa Rica last summer anything you got out of that or wished you got out of that helps you when you're going to Spain now?
yeah, so I think what really helped me out was the difficulty of like understanding the people and just trying to like relax and try and listen to what they're saying. What I really liked with my study abroad last time was the living with the family.
Yeah.
So I got to live with a host family, and that was really cool because you get to like be a part of their lives.
Right.
And then I think I'm gonna be super lazy there because I don't have to make any of my meals, and they do all my laundry.
Nice.
They make my meals, and then they change my sheets, which none of those things have ever been done for me on a regular basis. So it's just like
That's really cool.
it'll be really fun.
Yeah.
But I will have to figure out what I'm gonna bring because I'm only bringing my backpack to Spain,
Right.
and so probably like 3 pairs of pants, a few shirts,
Yeah.
maybe some underwear.
Maybe.
Probably some underwear, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, well, we'll miss you. And we'll try to power through the great abyss in this podcast without you. See if we can make it through, and then see you sometime next summer or this summer, June or July. So that's another episode of the Galloway Isabell podcast. My name is Thomas Galloway.
Noah Galloway.
Evan Isabell.
Chelsea Isabell.
There we go. Have a good one, guys.